wrapped in their flag with their children, babies and placards. These Ukrainians in London not so much protesting, but begging the West to do more to help their country. Do you think the British government is doing enough to help?
No, not enough. We need more. Stop this madness. Help us stop him. We are powerless. Help us.
Switching off SWIFT would be a big step because obviously, as we can see, the sanctions that were put in place did not do much work, unfortunately.
They should actually, the minimum they can do now is to put the RAF in the sky to control the airspace, close it for the Russians, and we'll do the job on the ground.
The scenes unfolding in the streets and fields of Ukraine are nothing short of a tragedy.
The Prime Minister today attempted to speak directly to the Russian.
Я не верю, что эта война от вашего имени.
And then the Ukrainian people, telling the former, I don't believe this war is in your name, and promising Ukraine this tragedy can and must come to an end.
Slava Ukraini.
Mr. Speaker.
In the Commons today, however, the government stressed that British help will not extend to a no-fly zone over Ukraine, nor NATO boots on the ground.
British and NATO troops should not, must not play an active role in Ukraine. We must all be clear what the risks of miscalculation could be and how existential that could very quickly become if people miscalculate and things escalate unnecessarily.
Which leaves the West relying on sanctions to rein in Putin. So what's been agreed so far? Western governments have frozen the assets of dozens of wealthy Russians. Today, Foreign Minister Lavrov and President Putin himself were added to that list. Among the companies targeted have been military suppliers, the state airline Aeroflot and some of Russia's biggest banks. The British government has just announced no Russian private jet will be allowed in UK airspace. But energy companies have so far escaped sanction due to Western dependence on Russian oil and gas. And despite pressure from the UK, some European governments are refusing to kick Russia out of the international payment system called SWIFT. This sanctions expert says that would be an important move.
By removing the ability for Russian banks to communicate over the SWIFT network, it will by and large cut them off from a large part of the world's economy.
Germany, however, together with Italy and France, have raised objections. The German government saying it would be technically complex
eine Aussetzung oder von SWIFT
and have a massive impact on German companies doing business with Russia. We need help is the cry at this protest, but Ukrainians both here and in Ukraine are hearing Western leaders talk a good game. But whether it's on SWIFT or Europe's reliance on Russian gas or London's coziness with Russian money, what they are seeing is Western leaders holding back from taking the really big steps. And Ukrainians rightly are deeply fearful of what that means for their country. Romilly Weeks, News at 10.